The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
It's time for the Michele Tafoya podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It is Wildcard Wednesday, and what a wild Wednesday. I want to get right into it, but I also want to encourage you to please just that subscribe button that's on your screen. Could you click that? You subscribe to us for free, but it certainly does help the show when we have you as a subscriber. So thank you in advance. Give us a review, whatever you want. We love having a group that we know we're talking to every week, and that's never going to miss an episode. Okay. So deplorables part 2, Redux, Act 2, whatever you want to call it, this time courtesy Joe Biden. And this is why Kamala Harris does not want Joe Biden on the trail or on the stump for her in these final days of the election. I'm going to play this for you. Here it is, what Joe Biden said on a Zoom call. Now, this all stems, in case you've been not paying attention, which who could blame you, from a comedian who was at the Madison Square Garden rally for President Trump over the weekend. This comedian was on stage 5.5 hours before Trump got in the building. And he's a guy that was known for, he was at Tom Brady's roast. He's an insult comedian. And he basically called Puerto Rico a floating piece of trash, a floating piece of garbage, a massive garbage. And the joke did not go over well inside Madison Square Garden, but the media, oh, bless their hearts, they jumped on this. They have been replaying this and using this as a weapon, basically, against Trump and his allies, calling them hateful and all the other things, because, you know, calling Trump a Nazi isn't hateful, but a comedian calling Puerto Rico a floating piece of garbage is the end of the world. And I don't like the joke. I didn't like the joke. I heard it later. I didn't hear it live. And I thought, well, that was really stupid. But it wasn't Trump who said it. It was an insult comedian who was hired who said it. All right. So, but the media is putting this all on Republicans, calling Republicans all kinds of names. All right, cut to less than 24 hours ago. Joe Biden speaking on a Zoom call. Here's what he said in response to that Puerto Rico comment.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters, plural. He called Trump supporters garbage. And immediately, I thought, oh gosh, this is going to require a major cleanup and a lot of spin. But I also recalled 2016. And I think it was not in October. I think it was September of 2016. When then Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton famously said this.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right?
Now that didn't end well for Hillary Clinton. And since then, people have been proudly calling themselves deplorables. I mean, she categorized Trump supporters, half of them, as deplorables, but she didn't specify which half. So anyone who voted for Trump was left to guess for themselves. Am I who she thinks is a deplorable? Was I one of the ones in that? So now Biden calls supporters garbage. And the amazing part, folks, is not so much that he said it, because this is classic Joe Biden, vintage Joe Biden, gaffe. The frightening part, and this is important, the most frightening part about this episode is that the White House tried to alter his quote. They said Biden in a Zoom call with the organization Voto Latino said the only garbage was the hatred of Trump supporters who said such things about American citizens. That's not what he said at all. John, can you play the Biden cut number 4 on garbage again? Let's hear it again.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
All right. The only garbage I see floating around out there is his supporters. Biden in a Zoom call with the organization Voto Latino said the only garbage was the hatred of Trump supporters who said such things about American citizens. That is a complete rewrite of the facts, because that is what they want you to believe. But you've just heard it and seen it for yourself, depending on whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on wherever, Spotify, Apple. This is Politico who wrote that. Politico rewrote the episode. And they're not the only ones. The White House, which was required by law to accurately document every word that comes out of the president's mouth, every public utterance, tried to change it as well with an apostrophe. They tried to change the punctuation, and I think they put an apostrophe after the word supporters and tried to make it sound like not what it was. I mean, this is Orwellian. I honestly, I try to stay away from hyperbole because I know you're tired of hyperbole. But when the White House tries to change the language of the President of the United States in documentation, that's illegal. So we have our deplorables moment. This is insanity. On top of that, last night on the Ellipse, Kamala Harris, first of all, demonized her opponent, as she's been doing, as the whole campaign has been doing since before Kamala became the candidate, since Biden was the candidate. Calling him Hitler, calling him a fascist, authoritarian, dictator on day one, blah, 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 blah. Well, I want to, this is another one that was sickening. This effort to compare Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally to a Nazi rally back in 1939. Here's just one example from one of my favorite people, Tim Walz, I say sarcastically. Here's what he said in his cryptic little Tim Walzian way.
Donald Trump has descended into madness over the last few weeks. And I think some of you don't miss on this. Go do your Google on this. Donald Trump's got this big rally going at Madison Square Garden. There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden. And don't think that he doesn't know for 1 second exactly what they're doing there.
Exactly what are they doing there, Tim Walz? Because, I mean, lots of things happen at Madison Square Garden. Many politicians have held events at Madison Square Garden. Many Democrat politicians have held events at Madison Square Garden. That's been documented. So you're trying to draw the parallel to Nazis, which would mean, by the way, that everyone in attendance was attending a Nazi rally, making them Nazis. And yet, did you notice the Israel flags in the audience? Did you notice all the Jewish people in the audience? I mean, this is absurd. It's absurd, and the fact that we even have to acknowledge it is absurd. And in the category of absurdity, here is a commercial that was written, produced, funded, and paid to air on television to try to make it look like Republicans are going to be involved in every aspect of your personal life. This is, I'm sorry, I'm going to show this to you. I am sorry in advance that I'm going to show this to you. And if you're listening, I'm sorry, because you're going to have to use your imagination. Okay. Let's play the ad, John. This is cut number 16.
Oh! Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
You can't tell me what to do. Get out of my bedroom, you creep!
I won the last election, so it's my decision. I'm just gonna watch and make sure you don't finish illegally.
Okay. It's pretty self-explanatory. For those of you listening and not watching, there's a guy in his bed with a device like watching porn, and he's using one hand to hold the phone, the device, and the other hand to do his business. And a man in a suit walks in, and of course he's white and older and gray and Republican, and we're not going to allow porn. I mean, this is the crap. And I think this is being directed at all of the younger men that the Harris campaign seems to be hemorrhaging. Like, if you vote Republican, you're not going to be able to, there's just no polite word. You're not going to be able to masturbate because you're not going to be able to watch porn. Oh my God. Okay. So, John, we're going to skip number 13, the Nikki Haley sound, because the reason I want to skip Nikki Haley is she does say, and she does say she's on the same team fighting for Trump to win. But in light of the last 24 hours, that is the least newsworthy thing that we have. And I think what you just saw, and again, I apologize to have to show you the young man pleasuring himself. This is the Democrats are going, they're trying to attach the Trump campaign to Project 2025. I think to a certain extent they've been successful, but the candidate, Trump, his own words defy everything that they've said. So last night on the Ellipse, Kamala Harris said that Donald Trump was going to impose a national abortion ban. Not true. He has very publicly, multiple times, said he would veto such a ban. And she also said he would try to stop in vitro fertility. Now, again, full disclosure, I went through in vitro 2-3 times. I know a lot of people who have. And let's actually play you what Donald Trump said to Tulsi Gabbard in a town hall about in vitro fertility.
As you know from friends and people you know, it's really worked out very well for a lot of people. It gave them a child when they would not have had a child. For people that are using IVF, which is fertilization, the government is going to pay for it, or we're going to get or mandate your insurance company to pay for it, which is going to be great. We're going to do that. We want to produce babies in this country, right? We want to produce babies.
Okay, you can cut it right there, John. So completely contrary. And so they just really don't have any shame, the Harris campaign. She doesn't have any shame. She's just lying to you, saying he's going to ban IVF and abortion. I mean, this is... to me, it's a sign of desperation, but I'm going to be really sad if people believe that without doing what Tim Walz suggested, without going and doing your Google search on what the facts are. That's why I just did it for you. You know, right there, Trump is very much in favor of IVF. And by the way, his wife, Melania, is pro-choice, as am I. So I don't think he's going to try to ban abortion. And he has said as much. I mean, that would be the most unpopular thing. By the way, since the Dobbs decision, there have been more abortions in America than there were pre-Dobbs in the year before and the year after. So Kamala saying the abortion ban and IVF and monitoring pregnancies is all bull. It's all related to this Project 2025, which they have cherry picked, which Trump has disassociated himself with, which is it's bull. And I'm refraining from saying worse. I know some people like it when we cuss. It's unoriginal. I don't need to. What's not unoriginal is your need to sleep. Everyone needs to sleep. We need to just fall asleep at night and get some good, solid sleep, because this is a stressful time of year. So I've had some trouble sleeping. My husband and I both have, and I've found something, and it works. And originally, when I was presented this product, I thought, this is silly. No way is a bit of lotion on the inside of my arm going to help me sleep. But I was wrong. This stuff is called sleep cream, CREME, like sleep creme. So what I do is I put it on the inside of my forearms, maybe the bottoms of my feet at bedtime. And guess what? Good night and sweet dreams. So the company is Sleep Cream, and they use an all-natural CBD combined with the finest essential oils. I've been using the rose, the lavender is also fabulous. I just put it on before I turn in for the evening. Like I said, bottoms of my feet, insides of my forearms, maybe around my neck. And within minutes, I am relaxed and my body is able to do what it's supposed to do, which is sleep. Find them at sleepcreme.com. Sleep, CREME.com, like creme. Just try Sleep Cream for a couple nights. See if it works for you, because it does for me, and I'd be surprised if it doesn't. But if you don't experience better sleep, Sleep Cream will refund your purchase, guaranteed. You don't have to return anything. Go to sleepcreme.com. Sleep, CREME.com. And for the next few weeks, use the code GAMEDAY, all one word, Game Day, to check out, use it at checkout and save $20. Game Day at checkout, all one word for $20 savings. If you're ready for the best sleep ever, and who is not, sleepcreme.com, sleep, CREME.com. All right. I'm going to take a little break from politics. Actually, in one way we are and in one way we're not. But World Series, Dodgers were leading 3-0 at Yankee Stadium last night. The Dodgers, Freddie Freeman, had already tied a record for home runs in 5 consecutive World Series games. That's the most in history until last night when Freddie Freeman did this.
Freeman cracks one deep to right field and good again! Freddie Freeman floating in the World Series. 4 games, 4 home runs. You gotta be kidding.
It's just amazing what this guy is doing. And that was his first at bat last night. He just got up there and cracked a home run. Again! It's like if he doesn't, we're going to wonder what's going on. If the Dodgers go ahead and win the World Series, he will be the World Series MVP. It's just as simple as that. I mean, what a performance. He just looks, and he's been doing it on a bad ankle. Now, this other moment, now, of course, the Yankees went ahead to win, and they won resoundingly. They finally got their hitting in order. But here's another moment from last night's World Series that is really shocking to me to watch. I've seen fan interference before at a baseball game. We all have. There was one that cost the Cubs. But watch this play really carefully. We're going to play the whole thing for you. This is insanity. Go ahead and roll this, John.
Fly to right by Torres. Betts in the corner. Does he have room? Fights with the fan. And they're going to say that it's an out and fan interference. So an out, 1 gone in this first. It's the second time that Gleyber Torres has hit a ball that has ended up in fan interference in this series. He had the home run turned into a double back at Dodger Stadium. And yeah, Betts has that ball in his glove, and this fan literally tries to take his glove off. Pries the ball out of there. A for effort.
Well, he won't be watching the game much longer.
Wow, he might just from a TV. Going to be watching us on the TV.
I mean, insane. I think not only will that guy, he got ejected, I think both of them, because the other guy tried to grab his free hand, the hand that didn't have a glove. I mean, they could have really hurt this guy. Not to mention the interference with the game, which was just egregious and ridiculous. So those fans get ejected. I would not be surprised if that guy's a lifetime ban from Yankee Stadium. I would not be surprised. I mean, that kind of behavior is just, you cannot have that. Unbelievable. So that, like I said, Yankees end up winning. It's now 3-1 game. 5 is tonight at Yankee Stadium. Sunday night football. Now, something happened before the Sunday night game. Dallas at San Francisco, which really means at Santa Clara, California, because the stadium is in Santa Clara. The last time I think I did a game, maybe not the last time, but during COVID, when we did a game at Santa Clara, no fans in the stand, right? It was the COVID season. I still had to wear a mask in the stadium. And Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth still had to wear masks inside the announce booth, even though we had all tested negative for COVID, even though there was no one around us. We had to wear masks in an empty football stadium. That was the city of Santa Clara. It's, Northern California is as woke as it gets. So I give you that for background because this beautiful family was ready to attend the game. 49ers fans all wearing their shirts and their garb. And they're walking in. They had purchased their tickets. They had gotten past preliminary security. And here's what happened to this beautiful family next.
To enter, and they stop us because my son-in-law is wearing this hat, and they don't want to let us in.
So you're not letting these folks in. So hold on. You guys are going to kick them out and wear Make America Great Again. Hold on.
Yep.
Hold on. We got to see the big over. You guys are going to kick these folks out. I'm sorry. These folks out.
His.
I want to know that the supervisor does not allow it in because it is not on the website. I looked it up because I knew on this hat, would you guys have stopped me because it is the same thing.
She can't wear it?
Yeah, they said we can't wear it.
No way.
Yes. Yes. Our MAGA hat.
I don't even fuck with it, but that's crazy.
Look it. Look it.
How are you going to apply policies?
Okay. We can pull that roll back. Suffice to say, it ended up a supervisor came over, but those two security guards were making a decision about a hat that says, "Make America Great Again." Of course, it's supportive of Donald Trump. But the words on it, "Make America Great Again," are not cuss words. They're not swear words. It's not obscene. I suppose maybe if you want to interpret it as a Hitler-esque hat, you could be offended by it. Family finally got in with their hat, I'm happy to say. But here is the chef's kiss on this story. This is the utter chef's kiss on this story. Post-game interview. Melissa Stark, the person who followed me in that role at Sunday Night Football, is down on the field with 3 players. She's interviewing them about the game because the Niners won. And check out what happened.
Points in the first half. What was said during halftime? Hey, all right, Nick Bosa with a message there.
First of all, Melissa did a good job of just sort of kind of acknowledging it, saying Nick Bosa with a message there. If you couldn't see, Nick Bosa's hat said, "Make America Great Again." So the 49er fans were not going to be allowed in because a couple of security guards were offended by that hat. But Nick Bosa, one of the 49ers players, wore it on national television. We're living in crazy. It's, as my friend Jimmy Fallon often says, it's a stupid time to be alive. But in a way, that's what makes this such a great time to be alive. And, it's a tough time to be alive because everything's so expensive, and that includes your health insurance. I mean, I don't know anyone who's not feeling overwhelmed by the increasing cost of health insurance. Have you had enough of not having control over your healthcare dollars? I mean, they're your dollars. Well, introducing ShareRight, healthcare done the right way. At ShareRight, you are not just a number, you're part of a caring community. And forget about paying excessive premiums. With ShareRight, you stand to save 30 to 50% compared to health insurance. Think about what you could do with all those savings. But it's more than just savings. ShareRight ensures you have access to the care you deserve precisely when you need it, from routine checkups to unexpected emergencies. With ShareRight, your health care is their top priority. So empower yourself today. Take control of your healthcare costs. Visit shareright.org/Tafoya, Tafoya, to learn more, see how much you can save. Visit ShareRight. That's all one word. SHARE, like share, RIGHT, shareright.org/Tafoya. That's shareright.org/TAFOYA for healthcare done the right way. So talk about your Wildcard Wednesday. The list that my producer John and I had of sound for today was about 5 times longer than what we had time to play for you. But this story about garbage, about Trump supporters being called garbage by current occupant of the White House, Joe Biden, who was sitting about 1,000 feet away from the Ellipse where Kamala Harris was saying she'd be the most unifying president in history, that she was going to be a president for all voters, even those who didn't vote for her. I don't know how anyone can buy that. They have been demonizing Republicans forever. Forever. I mean, it's just, I had the wonderful opportunity to interview Barbara Bush many years ago. And I asked her about the notion that, do Republicans and Democrats in DC even get along? And she said, everyone used to stay in town for the whole session and you'd go to dinner together, you'd run into each other and people were friendly. But now with people flying home so much or doing everything virtually or whatever, they don't interact. They rarely sit in chambers together at the same time. And so it's this divisiveness. I would also, just as an observer, say the division has come straight from the politicians themselves. And this is going to seem very biased on my part, and I kind of don't care. But to me, it started when President Barack Obama, elected twice, but in his first term said elections have consequences. I remember they were sitting around talking about the Affordable Health Care Act and, what they were trying to take input from both sides of the aisle. But anything that a Republican said, well, elections have consequences. We won. We're not going to listen to you at all. This is not going to be bipartisan. And we've had just division ever since. And just, John, can we play cut 4 one more time for our lovely audience? This is your current president, Joe Biden, the one who said they're going to put you all back in chains. The one who said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. He said this about Trump supporters just less than 24 hours ago.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
His supporters, period. The only garbage I see out there is his supporters. They can spin it any way they want, but you know damn well if that sentence came out of the mouth of anyone in the Republican Party, oh my gosh, it would be the ultimate crap show. Again, trying not to cuss. It's been a wild Wednesday. We're less than a week away from this being over. Gosh, I really hope it's over quickly. I hope we don't have hanging chads and all that stuff like we had Gore, Bush. I hope we don't have people lighting fires on cars because they're unhappy with the outcome. We are still a democracy, a Republican, a constitutional republic. This is how we vote. This is how it's done. I'm going to be voting for authenticity and leadership and safety and not empty promises. Okay, be brave. Do good. Wear whatever shirt, hat you want to wear for whomever you're supporting. Don't take down anyone else's signs in their lawn. Be brave, do good. We'll see you next time.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. He says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Tina is unconscionable, and it's un-American.